You don't remember exactly when the ache began, not the sharp kind that makes you gasp, the quiet kind, the kind that wakes you slowly at 3 a.m. with a hollow in your chest you can't name. It didn't arrive all at once. It crept in, like fog through a cracked window, like silence between two people who used to talk for hours. At first, you shrugged it off. A bad week. Too much stress. Maybe you needed a vacation, or more sleep, or more caffeine, or less. But weeks turned into months, and the fog didn't lift. It settled. You tried to explain it to people, that you feel tired even when you wake up, that your laughter doesn't reach your eyes, that you feel like you're living on autopilot. But they said, you're just overthinking, that everyone feels that way sometimes, that you should be grateful, and you tried. You really did. But deep down, you knew this wasn't just stress or sadness. This was something else, something older, something deeper. Carl Jung would say that what you're feeling isn't a breakdown. It's a breakthrough, a message from the soul. The pain isn't the problem. The pain is the signal. It's how the soul speaks when you've silenced your truth too long. We live in a world that rewards performance and punishes presence, that celebrates productivity, but pathologizes stillness, that sells healing in packages, but fears actual transformation. So when you start to feel the quiet ache, the subtle pull inward, you panic. You think something is wrong with you. But what if the panic is not a sign of sickness, but of awakening? Jung didn't believe the soul was something you find in churches or books. He believed the soul lives in your shadow, in your repressed anger, in your dismissed dreams, in the parts of you you were told were too much or not enough, in the truths you buried beneath your need to be loved. So when your soul begins to stir, it doesn't always come with peace. It comes with disruption. It comes with sadness that won't be reasoned away, with questions you can't unask, with a longing so deep it feels like grief. This is not dysfunction. This is descent. Jung called this journey the night sea voyage, the archetypal descent into the underworld of the self, not to escape the darkness, but to integrate it, to reclaim the parts of yourself you exiled to survive. Most people never make the descent. They spend their lives running from it, distracting themselves with busyness, drowning the voice of the soul in noise, in routine, in scrolling, in pleasing, in drinking, in chasing the next thing, the next promotion, the next relationship, the next goal. But eventually, the soul gets louder. The pain intensifies, not to hurt you, but to wake you. The ache is the soul saying, I'm still here. I still matter. Please come back to me. And you have two choices: numb it or listen. If you numb it, you'll survive, maybe even succeed. You'll build a life that looks good on paper. You'll be praised. You'll be liked. But every night, when the world goes quiet, you'll feel the hollowness rise again. You'll wonder what it's all for. You'll wonder why you still feel alone. But if you listen, really listen, everything changes. You'll hear the truth beneath the pain, the truth that you are not living your life, that you've been performing someone else's idea of who you're supposed to be, that the goals you chase were never yours, that your identity was crafted to win love, not to reflect truth, and that realization will shatter you. But that shattering is sacred. It's not the end. It's the beginning. Because only when the false self breaks can the true self rise. Jung said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. But you don't have to be most people. You don't have to spend your life afraid of yourself. When you descend into the soul, you meet the child you silenced, the artist you buried, the wildness you suppressed, the tears you swallowed, the anger you misnamed, the softness you shamed. And at first, it's overwhelming. The basement of the psyche is crowded with ghosts, with memories, with voices that told you who you had to be. But then something miraculous happens. You stop running. You start feeling. You stay. And in that stillness, the soul begins to speak. It doesn't use logic. It uses images, symbols, dreams. It speaks through synchronicities, through poetry, through tears, through intuition, through an ache in your chest when you lie to yourself. And slowly, the ache becomes a compass. It points to the places you've neglected. It leads you not out of the darkness, but deeper into it, to find the light that was buried underneath. Jung called this the individuation process, the slow, lifelong unfolding of the true self, not a self that fits in, a self that is. This journey isn't about fixing yourself. It's about finding the parts that were never broken, only hidden, only silenced, only waiting. You will lose people on this path, people who only knew the version of you who performed. You will lose comfort. You will lose approval. But you will gain yourself. And that is a trade worth making, over and over again. Because the world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs whole people. It needs you, awake, alive, and true. So if you feel like you're unraveling, don't rush to sew yourself back together. Let yourself come undone. Let the unraveling reveal what was always real. You don't need fixing. You need remembering. You need reclaiming. You need to listen to the ache until it turns into a song. And when it does, you will recognize the melody. You will say, "Ah, there you are. I've been waiting for you." And your soul will say, "I never left." Because pain is not your enemy. It is your guide, your invitation, your beginning. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are finally becoming real. And now that you've begun to remember, you'll start to notice how much of your old life was built on forgetting. You'll notice the masks, the routines, the way you kept yourself small to make others feel comfortable, the way you apologized for your brilliance, the way you called your magic too intense, or too sensitive, or too much. And you'll grieve. You'll grieve the years you spent abandoning yourself just to belong. You'll grieve the silence you accepted, the boundaries you never set, the truths you never spoke, the versions of you that never got to live because you were too busy trying to be good. This grief is not weakness. It is holy. It means you've finally stopped lying to yourself. Jung believed that the psyche had an intelligence of its own, that what we call symptoms, sadness, anxiety, confusion, are not failures. They are signals, messages, doorways to deeper knowing. So don't medicate the message. Don't numb the call. Sit with it. Listen. Because beneath your anxiety is your intuition screaming that something is off. Beneath your sadness is your soul mourning your own neglect. Beneath your rage is a fire that remembers what you deserve. And once you hear that voice, once you truly allow yourself to feel it, there's no going back. The old patterns won't hold anymore. The lies you used to tell yourself will feel sour in your mouth. The goals you used to chase will feel empty in your hands. You'll begin to see through everything, especially yourself. This is the moment most people run. They go back to the comfort of distraction, the safety of denial. Because waking up is not easy. Seeing clearly is not always kind. But you didn't come here to stay safe. You came here to become whole. Wholeness does not mean perfection. It means integration. It means taking all the parts of you, the joyful, the wounded, the wild, the grieving, and saying, all of you is welcome here. You will lose things as you heal. You will lose illusions. You will lose comfort. You will lose people who only loved the mask. But what you will gain is irreplaceable. You will gain your truth, your clarity, your voice, your freedom. And with that, you'll begin to build a life that doesn't require you to hide. You'll stop begging to be seen. You'll stop performing for love. You'll stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never built for your soul. And in that space, something ancient and sacred will awaken inside you. You will remember what it feels like to trust yourself, not your curated self, not your masked self, your soul self, the part of you that always knew, the part of you that whispered in the quietest moments, there's more than this. And now, you'll finally listen. You'll stop waiting for the world to grant you permission. You'll stop needing their applause. You'll stop asking if you're too much or not enough. Because you'll know you are exactly who you are supposed to be when you stop pretending to be anyone else. This is not a return. This is a resurrection. And you will rise, not into a version of yourself that pleases others, but into the version that finally pleases your soul, the one who says no without guilt, the one who walks away from what drains her, the one who creates art not for praise, but because it's how she breathes, the one who rests without shame, the one who knows that softness is power, that silence is strength, that tears are holy, that fire is necessary, that joy is her birthright, that love is not something she has to earn. And the more she lives as herself, the more the world will resist. Because a free soul is dangerous to a system built on shame. You will be misunderstood. You will be rejected. You will be told you've changed. And you will smile, because you have. You've returned to the root, to the source, to the wild truth that you tried for so long to bury. And now that it's blooming again, you will protect it with your life. You'll no longer explain your boundaries. You'll no longer dilute your voice. You'll no longer justify your healing. Because those who truly see you will not ask you to shrink. And those who cannot see you were never meant to. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But he also said something harder. There is no coming to consciousness without pain, and that is the cost of becoming real. You will be cracked open. You will face everything you avoided. You will meet the parts of you that you hated. You will hold the memories you tried to forget. You will walk through fire, but you will come out the other side. And when you do, you won't just be healed. You'll be whole. Not perfect, not fixed, but finally, fully, gloriously, yourself. So if you're in the middle of the unraveling, keep going. If you're lost in the night sea, keep swimming. If your pain is speaking louder than your logic, listen. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not behind. You are in the middle of the most important work you'll ever do, coming home to yourself. You don't need fixing. You need to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. You need to follow the ache, the longing, the pull, because your soul has not given up on you. It's just waiting for you to come back. And when you do, you will know a peace deeper than happiness. You will know a joy that does not depend on outside validation. You will know what it means to live from the inside out. And that, right there, is freedom. So here is your invitation. Not to fix, not to hustle, not to pretend, but to become, to remember, to rise. Let the pain be your teacher. Let the ache be your map. Let the shadows lead you home. Because everything you thought was wrong with you was just the part of you that refused to die. And now, it's time to live. Not as a version of someone else's dream, but as the truest version of yourself. Welcome home. You are not broken. You are the miracle you've been waiting for.